Hello and welcome back to my channel where I share videos about home studio recording setup and making music using your computer. And all the time I try to make it as easy as possible for you to get up and running quickly. Early in 2020, as the world went into lockdown, many musicians were looking to continue their teaching and performing whilst maintaining a social distance. So there was a scramble to master the tech and get online music lessons up and running. My most popular videos last year were about how to get set up to teach music lessons online, adjust Zoom settings to get good quality audio, and master the basics of streaming software like OBS. Now we seem to be emerging from those really difficult times, but are online music lessons here to stay? In this video, I talk to Len Baker, a keyboard and piano teacher who has had so much success with his online piano lessons that he has no plans to return to face-to-face teaching at all. Len has a very impressive setup, and here he talks us through how it works and shows you just how good Zoom lessons can be. Bear in mind, a year ago he started out with an iPad and has gradually built up his online teaching studio, so don't be daunted, be inspired. At the end of the video, I'll summarise Len's tech setup and also point you in the right direction so that you can give it a try for very little outlay. In fact, a lot of these things can be done for free in the first instance. So enjoy! Hi Len!
Hi Jane, how are you?
Hi, thank you for joining me. Now, you are a music teacher who teaches remotely via Zoom, and in a minute we're going to talk a bit about your experiences of this setup and hopefully help a few other people who might be thinking of getting set up in that way. We can have a look at some of the things that you found that work and some of the pitfalls. I think we're just about emerging from the strangest of times, aren't we? And in fact, it's kind of really weird because we've met via a virtual gym, which is just really strange. And last year, I actually interviewed one of the instructors from the gym, JD, who appeared here, and we talked about the Zoom setup he's done for the gym. And I think the fact that we connected that way is testament to the fact that if you get the tech right, it becomes the background, and the interaction that you can have with people can be just as good. We had a complete community. I mean, we're coming to the tail end of that now as everyone's going back to the gym. But at the time, it was like a real genuine online community of people coming together, wasn't it? So,
yeah, absolutely. It was brilliant.
Definitely.
Yeah, wouldn't have missed it for the world.
But what's interesting is I discovered while we were chatting at that virtual gym that you have been teaching online, but you then mentioned that you're unlikely to be going back to face-to-face.
That's right, yeah.
And so I think that's interesting.
Well, I've taught face-to-face for the last 30 years, and in schools as well as a peripatetic teacher.
So you teach piano and keyboard.
Yeah, and I've taught a bit of saxophone as well. I'm self-taught on the saxophone, although I've not done that across Zoom as yet.
Had you ever done any online teaching before the pandemic, or was it something you were forced? No. So it was something you thought, I can't be doing my lessons anymore. So
that's right. Well, I'd got to make an income, hadn't I? You see, so being self-employed, there was nothing to help. My wife, being a full-time carer for our son, doesn't earn a weekly wage as it was. So I'd got to carry on. I've always been into tech. I used to have an Acorn computer when everybody else had Windows.
Back in the day,
and then I went to Scion computers and things like that, the first Palm Tops and all that sort of thing.
So you weren't too daunted by having a go?
No, I relished. Oh, well, I actually look forward to it. I really enjoyed doing it.
So if you're teaching keyboard, you've got electronic keyboards there?
Yeah. I've got Yamaha keyboard, Yamaha piano, Yamaha organ. Although I don't teach the organ, that's just a relic from when I used to work for Yamaha as a Yamaha music school teacher.
Actually, what I'd like to do is probably talk a little bit through the tech setup that you've got.
Yeah. Okay. Well, when I started, I was like everybody else. So I've got my iPad. So I started using that. I think I was over across the other side of the room at that point. I've changed this room around so many times. Each time my wife comes here, she wonders where I'm going to be next. Next time I could be hanging from the ceiling because, that's the only place I haven't tried. I tried it just with a tablet, using the front-facing camera and just via Zoom.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So that's probably where most people start. Yeah.
I just used Zoom. I didn't use anything else. And to start off with, it was working absolutely fine. But like I say, being interested in tech, I wanted to make it as best an experience as possible because I thought, how am I going to keep my students if they can't either understand what I'm saying, can't see properly? I've got to make it as close to them being here as possible. So that's when I started. I've got a lot of my information off YouTube from people such as yourself, looking at all the different tech. There was a guy called Alistair Parnell, who's a saxophone teacher.
Oh, yes, I've come across him. He's good, isn't he?
And a lot of stuff came from him. There's another guy called Henny, who is an American guy, Henny the Business. He's really into the iOS side, and he makes music, he makes beats. And again, information from him in as much as, oh, I like that, I might look into that. That started me down the route of 1, trying to get better sound, 2, trying to get better pictures, and 3, finding an easier way of me being able to talk to my students on the other end, but also rather than having to look down to the mouse and do this to change, finding stuff that would make the whole process easier. Cost me a little bit of money, I must admit, probably up to £2,500 now, but I had to buy a new computer because my laptop was 12 years old, so that's a big bulk of it. You know, I've tried a couple of different microphone systems, but that's me. You don't have to do that, but that's me just wanting to get the best image I can get, you know, lighting to improve
the
the
lighting looks really nice. It's actually a great room. I love it. It's a great environment to invite someone into.
Yes, yeah, that's right. That's one of the reasons actually I don't want to go back to face because I've completely changed this room around. So to get people in here, I used to have a keyboard for myself and a keyboard for the student and things like that. So you're not sharing, you're not swapping and this, that and the other. In fact, it stood up over in the corner there going to go up for sale. I don't need it anymore. But it becomes awkward, you see. There's less room to move. But it's ideal for me to work from because everything's to hand. I've got a tablet there, I've got the screen there, I've got a camera there, I've got a microphone there, I've got another camera up there. It's all nice and close.
Let's talk about the hardware first then. So to get the sound to your student, you've got your keyboard. What are you running the keyboard through?
That is going through my Yamaha AG06 mixer. It's a mixer, and it's also an interface as well. It's built in. So
it's a sort of USB mixer. And then have you got your microphone running into that as well?
No, the microphone now I've got running because I've recently bought this. This is a Shure MV7. Okay.
That's a USB.
Yeah, that's USB. I'm running that into the back of the computer, but then I have to use some software because Macs aren't fantastic when it comes to delivering their own sound, the computer sound anywhere else. Yeah, I'm having to use a program called Loopback, which I've bought.
You're right. Okay, so you're using Loopback to combine the output from the mixer and the USB mic. I wondered how you were combining 2 different devices.
I used to use these, Rode Wireless Go. I used to use that and they work really well because as you turn around and play the piano, the sound doesn't change and this, that and the other. And that was plugged into my mixer. But because my days start at 3:30 and very often don't finish till 9, they would die because it's only. So I wanted something that I could just not worry about the power, you know, and I'd read some really good, good reports on that.
In fact, I did a review on those.
You did?
Yeah,
That's right.
Mine's a silver one.
Okay.
Yeah. Great. Those are a great mic. But the interesting thing is that is XLR as well. Have you tried putting the XLR through?
I did. Yes, I did. But I like the option with the XLR. You can't have their software working, which allows you to have near and far.
It's true. It's true.
The setting.
It works better. Yeah, and it's fantastic. I mean, presumably your voice is coming through that now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's really good quality. And like you say, you can have it just a little bit further away. You have to have it closer with the XLR lead, I found.
Right.
So yeah.
I can even lean back a bit and talk like this. I could see the actual green lights bouncing up and down. So I know I'm talking the right volume if I wanted to. So, you know,
Excellent. Yeah, brilliant. So you've got 2 devices. You've got your mixer, you've got your microphone, and you're running them with the Loopback that helps you combine different audio together in the Mac.
Yeah. And then I also started looking down the camera route, which is obviously massive.
Another minefield.
I'm still getting itchy fingers for another one.
Problem. You start buying things and then you see what there is.
I know. Well, first of all, I bought one of the cheap Amazon high def cameras. Not high def cameras, webcams. I bought one of those. Yeah, not got one built into my computer because I've got the Mac Mini, so that's not. And then I was able to have a 24-inch screen. And in the back of my Mac Mini, there's lots of ports, so that gives me lots of opportunity for sticking things and expanding. You see, rather than just using a laptop where I'd only got 1 or 2. You see, so it was actually it was the cheaper option by going through the Mac Mini. So then I started looking around. Well, what else can I use? SLRs and DSLRs and mirrorless cameras are very expensive.
They are
very expensive,
and they're not without their problems with all the batteries and tech.
No. Then I looked at the GoPro, so I ended up Amazon are doing ever so well from me, and there was an offer on for the GoPro, the Hero 8 Black.
Oh gosh, are they on the number 8 now? Wow.
Yeah, no, they're on number 10 coming out now.
Oh, Gosh.
The Hero 8 Black was one of the first ones that you could, I believe, use. They brought out their own webcam software. So you run their webcam software, and all you have to use is just your USB-C cable. Found out later on, of course, you don't even have to have your battery or your memory card in. It's just working purely as a high-def webcam.
That's interesting, because I've got an old school GoPro and I haven't looked at them recently. So that's quite a good option because they are very versatile little cameras anyway.
Absolutely. And I didn't want to spend upwards £150, £200 and have something just sat on top of the screen I can't use. So actually now I've made a couple of videos for the gym. And I'm going to take it on holiday with me when I go and things like that. I fancy trying vlogging and things like that of some form. So yeah, I have got a spare camera. I bought a Logitech Stream Cam as well because I was having a slight issue with my GoPro and it seemed to be getting rather hot. But that turned out it was because I'd still got the battery in. And then pictures were doing this and flickering, and so it was recording and I couldn't stop it doing this. So I thought, if it gets really hot here in the summer, in this room as it does, if I have a problem that shuts down, I've got to have a backup. So I bought a Stream Cam, it's a good camera, but I can't get as good pictures as I can with this.
But do you use that as your? Do you have an overhead shot of your keyboard or a different shot of your keyboard?
There we go.
Look
One
at
overhead
that.
shot.
Yes, see, I love these people who come on here and they can just do that sort of thing. It's great, yeah.
So there's my overhead shot, and that's actually that cheap webcam I bought in the first place.
Right, and that's great. It's perfect for that.
I've got lights over here because I've not got my main light on, because the main light on, it's too bright. And one of the reasons I stopped using that camera was because you couldn't make out the individual notes. So I've now got no lights on apart from that Stream Cam. I've got a bulb. I'm going back to that. I've got a bulb over here, just the LED bulb, and then I've got that light at the back, and then all it is the light from the door to get the right sort of thing. But by using that and I can adjust the brightness of that up or down if I want to. So if I get brighter like that, then when you've got that shot, can you see how the key is there or molded into one?
Yes, it blows them
you
out.
See,
yeah.
so if I just take it back down.
Brilliant, yeah. Oh gosh, this is interesting, yeah.
I've got all that control, you see. So that's now working really, really well. I'm well chuffed with it, but I still can't help myself trying different things. I mean, I've got this one as well, so if I want to share music, and I want to do that with any of my music.
Are you doing that with your iPad?
That's on my large iPad, yes. I've got a couple of iPads here. I've got this one is the original iPad Pro, the 12.9. I've got all my music on that, so I can, as you see, I can use lots of music. I can annotate it. So if I wanted to annotate it, I can draw. I can do whatever I want to. I can zoom in, and I can show that to all the students. You see.
Are you doing all this through OBS now? All this showing off?
I'm doing it through a Stream Deck.
Are you doing it through Stream Deck?
Yeah, that's the other piece of expensive kit I bought, but it's brilliant because with the Stream Deck, I can do all this and carry on talking. And if everybody makes mistakes, so they'll get this. Uh-oh.
Wow.
Little bits and pieces like that. Of course, when they're really well, they'll get that and they'll get a round of applause, all pressed by. Wow. All plugged into the Stream Deck.
Oh my goodness. What's Stream Deck? I don't know.
Have you not heard? Oh, okay. Elgato.
Oh, Elgato. Okay, so.
Yeah, I can just show you like that. Look, there it is. It's a box of buttons, and all those buttons can be programmed to do absolutely anything.
Okay.
You see, prior to that, of course, it's not just Zoom. I'm using OBS, like a lot of people do.
Right. So you're using OBS, and you're running a virtual camera out of OBS into Zoom right now.
Correct. Yes. That's right.
But you're controlling all these things.
Yeah.
Via that Stream Deck.
The Stream Deck itself is not part of OBS. It just controls it. You have got, if you go into the Stream Deck software, it actually has got a section for purely OBS Studio or whatever it may be. So it just works. In OBS, you can have shortcuts, can't you? You can press shortcut buttons. Well, it's doing that for you. And it's so simple to set up again. It really is. It's really, really simple to set up. And again, just makes my job so much more streamlined. I can just carry on teaching and everybody likes it. I've started 6 new people in the last 7 or 8 weeks, which is really, really good.
And are these people you just completely starting with online? You've never done any face-to-face?
Never done it before. No. In fact, one lady came along, rang me up and says, I really want face-to-face lessons. Do you do them? I says, no, not anymore. I says, but why don't we have just a chat on Zoom? I can show you what I do. It transpired she had been there, her children had lessons and had tried out lessons with somebody else on Zoom. And she saw my setup, which went, oh my word.
She did. I'm just saying.
And I started both her children, and I've even started I've actually started somebody who is just been having lessons with somebody else in the village, but coming to me instead for the same reason, because the way, and this is what I wanted to do. This is what, I wanted to make it so people went, oh, wow. Everything today is just so easy, isn't it? It's pleasure is so easy. Get on your tippy tappy, on your games machine and what have you. And as a music teacher, you're competing with that. When I had music lessons, it was, you're going and you're going to get on with it. Yes, Dad. Yes, Mum. Now it's, well, what else do you want to do? Which is, okay, fair enough. So I've got to compete with that.
And kids have wall-to-wall hobbies now as well, don't they?
Absolutely.
But I mean, it's a very impressive setup. So could you take an absolute beginner, someone who's never played?
Yeah. So yes, I'm doing that. Because the other thing as well, one thing I forgot to show you, when I've got that shot, okay, if I'm showing people the notes like that, oops, let's put it onto the piano. I've got a note like that. If they can't if I might be showing them some chords. So if I'm playing keyboard, I'm showing them chords like this. If you can't quite see that, I put that on. And you've got the shapes, and things like that. And it all helps.
In fact, it almost better than real life. This experience is just brilliant. It is really, really impressive. But now the question is, so I presume you've adjusted the Zoom settings when you do this. Do you?
Yeah, original sound.
Sound.
Actually, I've not got it on at the moment, so when I played those, but normally
if you're doing your lesson, you put it into original sound.
I occasionally forget. Okay.
Yes.
But what I've done now is when people start the lesson, I'll disappear for a moment. Okay, I'm still talking. Okay. When the lesson starts, they'll see this. They get this. Okay, they get a bit of music playing in the back.
Right.
You get a bit of music going like that, you see. So then that comes up, you see. So they see that. Then it tells them to switch. And I think, oh, I've got to switch my sound on, you see. So they get all that, and I just switch off, and there they are.
Brilliant.
You see, so that's reminded me to put my original sound on as well.
You make sure your pupils know about the original sound and that they enable that. The sounds too. Yeah. So that was one of my questions. So that's good, and that's a really good way of doing it, actually. And
I can show them on my tablet as well, because if they're not too sure, when I share the tablet, I can actually join my own meeting.
Yeah.
And show them.
Yes.
Or show them how to. I don't join it because obviously I got the free version, but you know what I mean.
You can show them the screen.
I'll show the screen, show them where the settings are and what have you.
Oh, so you just have completely the free Zoom. You don't have a pro Zoom for this?
No, because I only have one-to-one lessons, one person, so I don't need to.
And so it is amazing what you can do with Zoom.
Absolutely.
Free. They've put all the bells and whistles in there. It really is just a limitation about numbers of people, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Absolutely, you see. Excellent. So, and they're always updating it. It's what I like as well, because the original, when we first started...
I kind of like that, except when they do something and you don't see it. Yeah, but go on. Yeah.
Absolutely. But originally people used to... There was a bit of scaremongering now originally. It's a bit, it's not very secure. I've heard of some insecurities of it. So I had to try and convince all my students, especially when you've got young kids on there, that actually, it's really good. And the way I join as well, I don't give out a number. I have contacts. I do it with the contacts, which sets up one secure meeting with that one person, doesn't it, you see?
I think it's much harder now they did have this issue where anybody, if they got hold of the details, could just bomb a meeting and do all sorts of things in school classes and things, which we don't want to think about here. But you couldn't really do that now. I mean, they have sort of stitched all that up, and they've made it much easier to enable the original sound as well. It's just in the mainstream settings. It used to be really hidden behind a mini button, and it's a bit harder on the iPad, I think, to find it. But if you can show them, that's
right. It's still easy though. Once you've set it up in the original settings, you just have to switch it on each time.
How do you get your students to set themselves up so you can see what they're doing?
They have to try. I mean, the odd one, it doesn't quite work, and unfortunately, you're still looking up their nose because they're like this, because they've got it sat there. But majority will put their tablet or their phone or their laptop to one end of the instrument, and they'll look at me sideways, and I can see what they're doing, and that works fine. I don't want to go into too much. You need to do this, you need to do that. If they think they've got to start spending a massive amount of money just to get online, you're going to put them straight off. Yeah, phone is absolutely fine if you can put up with a tiny screen, and some actually do that, but they still have their phone at the end. It's just when I come to show something on their little phone, it's not quite as clear. You see them getting up and going, that sort of business. And looking close, which is fine.
It's mind-blowing. And I can see now why you can just create this great learning experience. And also, it's just so much more time efficient. You haven't got all the kerfuffle between classes, or travelling for anybody.
Well, the travelling's gone. You already mentioned about children having so much stuff to do. Well, now it's only half an hour. It's not 20 minutes to get here and half an hour less and then 20 minutes to get back home and getting stuck in traffic and this, that and the other. I think I've had one person who said, I really would like to start doing, coming back and having lessons. But I think that was mum more interested in her child was losing a bit of interest. And I don't think it would have made any difference whether he came here or not.
Someone loses interest, they lose. It's not.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it isn't for everybody, is it?
No,
and
that's
people
right.
get so far and then that's enough.
That's right.
And then
Having said that, still having his lesson, and going for an exam. So,
well, there you go. So, Len, that has been absolutely brilliant. I'm absolutely blown away. I mean, I just love your room. It's really interesting to hear what you're doing, and I can see now why this is the future. Even when all the restrictions get dropped, it's brilliant. Yeah. Are you still actively recruiting students?
Yes, all the while, more and more people. Yeah.
If I pop some of your contact details below,
I've got. You can see that if you want to. Look, you see there.
Okay, brilliant. That saves me a job. Excellent. That's good stuff. But I know when I just contacted you about this, you said, yes, but you're going out to a real live band practice tonight.
Yes, I'm part of the Leicester Big Band, so my saxophone there is sitting waiting.
Because there are some things that are just not the same online. And that is one of them. Band practice, choirs, all that sort of thing.
Actually impossible, really. It's very, very difficult.
Playing together with people. They come to you for the lessons, and then when they're ready to go and do that live experience with people, which is what it's all about at the end.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the teaching, I'm very impressed. So thank you so much.
That's all right.
For taking the time to come and talk to us about that. I'm sure you're going to inspire a few other people to up their game, if nothing. Very good. But like you say, you can start with an iPad and move.
Absolutely.
And take it at your own pace. Yeah.
Which
Brilliant.
is exactly what I've done. And, it's never too late to learn either, to do anything like that. I'm not particularly young, and I've just gone for it.
Anyway, thank you very much, Len. That's been really great. Thank you.
Thank you ever so much. That's fantastic. Thanks.
Okay, let's have a quick run through Len Baker's online teaching setup. At the heart of his studio, he has got a Mac Mini. You could do this with any Mac or PC, whether it's a desktop computer or a laptop. You can't do this with a tablet. Now, on that Mac, he has got installed OBS Studio. That is free, open source software where you can do this broadcasting setup. And he's also using Zoom to communicate with his students. He's a keyboard teacher, so his main instrument is keyboard. So how does he get all the audio and visuals combined and into Zoom for his students? First of all, the audio from his keyboard is going into a mixer. He has a Yamaha mixer. This is a USB mixer, so it doubles up as an audio interface. So any audio that he runs through the mixer, it is connected directly to his Mac. So that is how he is streaming the audio, the sound of his keyboard. He has a Shure MV51 USB mic, so that is also connected separately to his Mac. Because he has two separate audio devices, he uses a utility called Loopback to combine the audio from the two different things, and that is what he's using as the microphone input in Zoom, so his students can hear him speaking and hear the keyboard. He could equally use a microphone plugged into the mixer so that he would just have one audio device. That would be a bit simpler, but he likes that Shure MV7. It is a very nice USB microphone and has various utilities built into the software. To get his main face-to-face shot, he is using a GoPro Hero 8, which he is connecting directly up to his Mac so that he can use it as a webcam, and that gives him that main shot of his face in the studio. He also has a second camera, which is a webcam that he's got positioned over the keyboard to show that overhead shot of all the keys of his keyboard while he's playing it. He also uses an iPad that he is connecting into OBS as well. That enables him to show all the sheet music and to annotate it for the student. And finally, he has Chordy app or something similar that allows him to show a virtual keyboard. That means that when he presses the keys, his student can see on that animated keyboard which keys he's pressing very clearly. He's got a range of visual going on there. He's also got those little graphics where he's got applause or the little duck going uh-oh when they make a mistake. He's got all those things combined as various scenes in OBS. Because there are so many scenes to switch between them, he's using a Stream Deck, which you could think of as a very posh remote control that controls everything that's going on in OBS. So his visuals are all working like that. What you do with OBS is you start a virtual camera, and that becomes the camera input in Zoom. Everything that's going on in OBS appears, as you've seen in this presentation, when Len's switching between the different views and so on. He's doing that via a virtual camera in Zoom. We connected with Zoom for this presentation, so you can see how the things combine there. Now, if all this seems a bit daunting, earlier this year I created a complete step-by-step video showing you how to do exactly this. I show you step-by-step how to film your keyboard and yourself with overhead shot and face-to-face, plus a virtual keyboard. And the main difference between what I'm doing and what Len's doing here is that I did it mostly for free. The only purchase I had to make was for the little app, Chordy app, which is a few dollars, to show that virtual keyboard. In that video, I take you step by step through using OBS, how to combine the different visuals and also the audio. But what I did was I used my mobile phone as the overhead camera, so I didn't have to buy anything to do that. And then I used the built-in webcam on my laptop to do the face-to-face. So I was showing you how to do this for free. I did use an audio interface to combine the audio of my keyboard and microphone, but equally you could just use the built-in microphone on your laptop to give this a go. That would work equally well, it just wouldn't be quite such good quality. If you want to see how to do this step by step, then do refer to that video. I will link to it below. If you do it step by step, it's actually very straightforward. So you'll learn how to set up OBS, learn how to use that virtual camera in Zoom, and combine it with your audio. Well, I hope you found that helpful. If you have enjoyed this video, then do give it a like. That really helps me out. It was great fun talking to Len, and his setup is so appealing. I'm almost tempted to sign up for lessons myself. If you are equally tempted, I've posted links to his website and YouTube channel in the description. If you have any questions or comments, do post them below. I love to read your comments and will try and help out if you want to know more. I do think online teaching is here to stay, whether you go for it 100% or mix it up with face-to-face. So any questions you have will help me decide what content to produce next to help you out. Do subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of my home recording studio tutorials, and hit the little bell if you want to be alerted when I've uploaded new content. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.